You were never really told the truth. Not by your teachers, not by your parents, not even by yourself. Because the truth is too uncomfortable to face. The life you're living isn't actually real. Not in the way you think. Not in the way you've been taught. You've been hypnotized, not by a magician, but by culture itself. And like any good illusion, it feels completely normal. But ask yourself something. Why does it always feel like something is missing, even when you've done everything right? Why does a quiet emptiness follow even your happiest moments? Why do you chase goals that feel hollow the moment you reach them? Alan Watts, a philosopher disguised as a storyteller, once said, "We suffer because we take seriously what is only play." Think about that. What if everything you call reality is just a game, and you've forgotten that you were meant to play, not obey? You were born into a world already scripted. Your name was chosen for you. Your language, your beliefs, your ambitions, handed to you like clothes that never quite fit. From the very start, you were trained to see the world not as it is, but through the lens of society's expectations. You were told to become someone, as if you weren't already whole. They gave you a checklist, a formula. Study hard, get a job, earn money, find love, settle down, retire, die. Follow the path, stay in line. And so you did, and you kept doing, and you're still doing. But somewhere deep down, a voice keeps whispering, "This isn't it. There must be more." That voice isn't madness, it's memory, a memory of something more fluid, more alive, something that can't be measured in grades, salaries, or likes. Alan Watts spoke of the self not as a fixed entity, but as an illusion, a story we tell ourselves. He said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." But how do you feel like the ocean when you spent your whole life trying not to drown? You were taught that you are your name, your job, your roles. But none of those are you. They're just masks. And the great tragedy? You've worn the mask for so long, you forgot there was a face underneath. There's a reason so many people feel lost, even when they appear successful. It's because they're living someone else's dream, chasing borrowed definitions of happiness, trying to win a game they didn't choose. Alan Watts invites you to stop, to breathe, to question. What if the chase is the illusion? What if you were never meant to run after life like it's something outside of you? What if the only thing keeping you from peace is the belief that you need to earn it? You've been trained to fear stillness, to fear being, but being is all there is. Look around, right now. What do you see? A screen? A room? Your hands? That's not the world. That's an interpretation, a filtered, conditioned perception. Your senses, your thoughts, your memories. They create a version of reality, but it's not reality with a capital R. It's a painting of a landscape you've never truly visited. And you stare at the painting, wondering why it doesn't feel real. Alan Watts didn't want you to reject life. He wanted you to dance with it, to stop treating life like a problem to be solved, and start seeing it as a song to be heard, a river to be flowed with, a flame to be felt. He said, muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. But we never leave anything alone. We analyze, we fix, we strive. And in that striving, we forget the wonder of just being. We've become obsessed with purpose, as if existence needs a reason. But what if the purpose is the play itself? What if you are not here to become something, but to remember that you already are? You see, awakening isn't dramatic. It's not a lightning bolt. It's not fireworks or angel choirs. It's more like a gentle smile, a sigh, a realization that you've been holding your breath for years, and you can finally exhale. It's looking around and saying, I'm here, and that's enough. Not because you've achieved anything, not because you've proven yourself, but because existence is its own miracle. Alan Watts asked, what would you do if money were no object? But the real question is, what would you do if fear were no object? What would you create, say, feel, if you weren't constantly trying to matter? You already do. You exist. That's enough. Everything else is embroidery. So what now? Now you stop running. You sit. You listen. You let the noise settle. And you look inward, not for answers, but for silence. Because it's in that silence that the illusion begins to crack. It doesn't shatter with drama. It dissolves like mist in morning sun. You start to notice the space between thoughts, the space between doing, the space where you actually are, not the version of you that performs, the one that watches, the witness, the consciousness beneath it all. That's not poetic metaphor. That's reality, realer than anything you can touch. Because everything you touch, everything you think, everything you call real is just waves on the surface. You are the ocean. Maybe for the first time, you're beginning to feel it. The shift. Not a change in the world, but a change in your way of seeing the world. You're not trapped. You never were. The cage was made of thought, and now you hold the key because you realize there was no lock. Alan Watts reminds us, trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. The self cannot be found like a lost object. It can only be remembered, felt, lived. And when you stop trying so hard to be someone, you finally become everything. Not in a grand, egoic way, but in a quiet, humble one. Like a tree that simply grows, a river that simply flows, a soul that simply is. So if this speaks to you, if something inside you is stirring, aching, remembering, then maybe you're ready. Ready to let go. Ready to stop mistaking the map for the territory. Ready to live, not in the illusion, but in the mystery. Because that's what life is. Not a problem, not a path, a mystery. And mysteries aren't meant to be solved. They're meant to be loved. You are not a machine. You are not a role. You are not a name. You are the awareness behind the eyes, the silence between the words, the vastness watching the play. Don't waste another day chasing shadows. Turn around, face the light, step into yourself. You were never lost, just dreaming. And now, perhaps, you're beginning to wake up. If this message stirred something in you, if it made you feel seen or gave you space to breathe, then give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this one. You are not alone in this journey. Let's keep walking it together.